What is Squirrels? Squirrels is a REST API framework for data analytics. There's a bit to unpack here. What does REST API mean? What does data analytics mean? REST APIs, or simply APIs, is a method for software applications to communicate with each other across the world. Some say APIs are the backbone of the internet. And data analytics is the process of transforming raw data into meaningful results that can be presented as tables, graphs, visualizations. It can be shown in third-party applications or even software you develop yourself. Here's an example. You know how when you Google weather, you get a graph showing temperature, precipitation, and wind speed for every hour. Now let's say we wanted to reproduce this graph starting with raw data of temperature, wind precipitation, and wind speed for every minute of every location. Now with data analytics, we would want to filter on the correct location, do the maximum temperature, total precipitation, average wind speed for every single hour for the next 24 hours. Now, data analytics wouldn't just exist for weather on Google, but also for other websites like LinkedIn, YouTube, and I'm sure you can think of a few more. Although Squirrels is an API framework, it is different than what I like to call general purpose API frameworks such as Spring Boot or Express that requires you to have extensive knowledge of how APIs work and uses languages like Java and Node.js. I can tell you that most data teams do not have these skills. On the other hand, Squirrels is an analytics-focused API framework that doesn't require extensive knowledge of how APIs work to know how to use. Instead, it leverages existing skills of data teams like SQL and Python with pandas. In some cases, it's not even required to write any Python code. You just need to have Python installed on your computer and run pip install squirrels to get going. So, why use Squirrels? Reason number one, Squirrels centralizes data logic to avoid duplication of logic across applications. For instance, suppose we have multiple data sources used by multiple applications. These applications can be customer-facing applications shown on websites or mobile, or third-party applications such as Excel, Looker, Tableau. All these applications have their own different way to query the data, and it requires a lot of different expertise and skills to be able to query data using these different applications. This is also prone to duplication effort and inconsistent results when trying to replicate the same logic between these applications. Thus, this is a bad strategy. Now with Squirrels, you would process the data in SQL or Python, whichever you prefer, and feed the results into multiple of your favorite applications. These applications would only be responsible for the look and feel of your visualizations. They will not be involved in the querying of the data itself. Another reason to use Squirrels is because Squirrels expands the capabilities of your data team, reducing the dependency on back-end web developers for real-time data analytics. Traditionally, when companies are building data analytics in their websites, they have data engineers to do the processing of raw data by transforming, filtering, aggregating the data into clean, structured data. Then there are full-stack web developers who write API services to query the data to send to other services like report builders or directly into the user interface. The reason why data query APIs tend to be maintained by these web developers is because the typical data team do not have the skills to create API services using the typical general purpose API framework. If the data API query only needs to bother with fetching the entire table from a data warehouse, then this split in responsibility works fine. However, if we have, for instance, had a dynamic visualization dashboard with drop-down parameters that redefine how the data is processed and queried based on real-time parameter selections, there are thousands or even millions of combinations of different parameter selections. you can't just calculate everything in advance and have the API service taking the whole table. This means that the data query API must do a lot more processing work. And the web developers, they are lost because they don't have knowledge on the data or have the skills to know how to do the data processing. However, with Squirrels, we can let the people who understand the data and have the skill sets to know how the data query changes based on real-time parameter selections work on data query API. Now, that is how you maximize the capabilities of the data team. If you want to learn more about Squirrels, please visit squirrels.analytics.helpdesk.io. If you can spare 8 more minutes, click here or the link in the description below to see Squirrels in action. Subscribe and stay tuned as we will be posting out more videos of Squirrels in the future. Until next time.